Hey, how's it going? So in this video, we're going to be talking about Yinlin, and we're going to break down her kit, also talk about what part of content she'll be good in, and team synergies and echoes and weapons and all that other beautiful sort of stuff that we should talk about before we pull for Yinlin, or should you pull for Yinlin as a free-to-play player. Now, let's start with Yinlin Kit. Let's break down Yinlin Kit first. Yinlin is a electric hybrid character that could deal a ton of damage on field and off field, while also providing buffs and benefits for your main damage dealing character or DPS character on a team. Not only that, her forte kind of plays like Encore a little bit, where her heavy attack is kind of replaced later on with something else, which is going to be thousands of face for her, or 1,000 face for her, I believe. If we go to her passive skill, yeah. So if we go to her passive skill right here, 1,000 face, when Yinlin judgment points is filled, her heavy attack is replaced by 1,000 face, consuming all judgment points and causing a wide range electric damage field. So this is where typically you see where her AoE attack comes from back when if you've seen her in CBT. So yes, that's where we're mainly gonna be, kind of focusing on whenever we do get her in game pretty soon. Now, before we dive deep into this video, I do want to quickly say this. My honest truth, unless they nerf Yinlin from the way she works from CBT as it stands, she will be a character that I believe will be a long-term character that will synergize with most characters in the game just fine. And not just for Kakro, but I'll explain in a bit. So yeah, but first thing first, what part of content she would be good in? As it stands, we already got a tier list here, and pretty much Yinlin was on this tier list under here. She was T0 under hybrid, but I understand why they removed her, because right now, since she's pretty close, we don't know if Hero Games nerfed her from the way she works from CBT2, but if she isn't nerfed, you will want a character that could, do AoE attacks and such. And Yinlin is a very strong electric character, and she was in T0, which she was a hybrid character. So for tower adversity, she will be amazing for tower adversity. Now for open world exploration, that any character just in general, it don't matter for open world exploration. You don't really need a tier list or anything for open world exploration. Just use whoever you want to, because every single character in this game is good for open world exploration. Now for depth of the elusive realm, I don't know if you're going to be able to use her, but of course when you do get advance further into the content for it, you are able to pick certain characters that you are able to use. So for that part of the content, I also say it doesn't matter as well, since it's kind of like simulated universe. And my hot take is that it's pretty easy to use any characters in this game mode itself as well. So for Depth of the Illusion Realm and Open World Exploration, it doesn't matter. What we truly care for Yinlin is Tower of Adversity, and she's really good for Tower of Adversity. Now let's talk about team synergies and what teams or characters that she could work with perfectly fine. And first thing first, we obviously know that Yinlin and Kakro are going to be the main recommended team. In fact, probably the top 3 best teams in the game pretty soon. So if you already got Kakro, you should automatically be waiting to get Yinlin anyway, because Yinlin is going to be that one character that par very well with Kakro. The only reason why I'm saying this is because Yinlin, for her outro skill, buff electric characters anyway, and she could also increase liberation damage as well. And Kakro will benefit heavy from just Yinlin in general, as Yinlin and Kakro, Yinlin will be helping, pretty much be based around Kakro playstyle anyway. So Yinlin and Kakro will be a perfect synergy together. And you could also throw in Yanwu as well, because Yanwu and Yinlin will also be a great synergy on the team as well, as Yanwu is a very good, I'll say breaker in a way, because his attacks are very fast in the game. But pretty much just mainly any electric character in the game is an automatic good pair with Yinlin for what it seems. Now, can she work with any other characters in the game? And my answer to you is yes. There's 2 reasons. One, because of her forte and her area of attack, the little thing that she do. And my second reason is because of her outro skill. And that is because her outro skill gives liberation deepen damage. Deepen damage is kind of like a damage amplifier in a way. Just know it's a good thing. I'm not going to go into depth about it. It's too nerdy stuff. But just know in general, liberation damage is good. And her area attack is good as well. So as somebody who's an Encore main, Encore will also benefit from having Yinlin on a team as well. So if you are planning to get Yinlin, but you're scared that Yinlin might not pair pretty well with the character you have, just don't worry too much, because Yinlin will be able to pair with that character you do have. I don't want to sit here and tell you a lie, say, hey, you can only use Yinlin for Kakarot or Yanwu or whatever. You are able to use whoever you want to with Yinlin, and just experiment. That's just lab the game. In my honest truth to you guys, and I'm aware of this because not many content creators will tell you this, lab with Yinlin. If you think Yinlin, like generally, like play around with the open world first, test some combos with her before leveling her up, and see if she will make a good team with that character you are using, because I can't go onto your guys' account and see who you're using and be like, yeah, you could do this, that. Like, generally speaking, you got to test that out yourself. But I can sit here and tell you that yes, she can pair well with half the roster list in this game as it stands as well. So that's my reason for Team Synergy. It's not really too much to go in depth about, but my best recommendation to pair her with is with Kakarot and Yanwu together. So yes, she could also work very well with Verena as well on the team. So yeah, if you want to use a broken team, Kakarot, Yinlin, Verena, there you go. The best team synergy right there as a free-to-play player. Next up, we're going to be talking about what best echoes can Yinlin use though. And to be honest with you guys, she got 2 sets that you could possibly use, and the second set isn't really recommended, but you could play around and experiment with. But the first set here, we got Void Thunder. The reason why I'm going to say Void Thunder is because the 2-piece and the 5-piece set that you get if you get all 5-piece echoes, you know, if you get all 5 echoes together on her little echo build, to be exact. But the main echo you want to be using is Thundering Memphis. The reason why we're going to use Thundering Memphis is because it will give electric damage, of course, but it will also increase the liberation damage as well. You're going to really want that. I'm pretty sure it also says it might increase resonant skill as well, which I was trying to find, but I could be wrong. You could correct me down below in the comments, but you do want to be using Thundering Memphis. Now, you could also run the Moonlight Cloud set. This is the second set I was talking about. You might be asking, well, okay, why are you trying to run this set here? You know, isn't this a bad set? The only reason why I'm going to say is a okay set, but not the best or recommended set that you should possibly be running in a way, is because you can take advantage of the 5-piece set here. You could use it for the outro skill, and the attack of the next resonator has an increase in damage for 22.5% for 15 seconds, which is pretty okay. It's pretty good in a way, but it's not better than taking advantage of the, okay, here it is, taking advantage of the resonant skill for the electric damage and the resonance liberation damage here for Thunder and Memphis. So you do kind of want to run the Void Thunder. It's 6 times better than trying to run the Moonlight set, but the Moonlight set is very optional, and you can run it if you want to experiment with the build or team that you're currently doing. I'm not going to tell you that I'm against the idea. You could do it. That's why I also said she has a second recommendation set, because I want to open your guys' eyes and say, hey, you could also do this as well. I don't want to limit you guys to just do one thing. So a lot of people want to shame content creators for that and be like, whoa, this content creator say, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. Well, I realize that. I'm trying to be more aware and tell you guys that you could do more than one thing with Yinlin as well. So, but I will also say this, do be careful at least when you are trying to build Yinlin though. For her substats, for Thunder and Memphis, you want to at least build Yinlin as any other attacker or main damage dealer in the game. So you want to have any crit piece for her, like crit rate or crit damage, which is perfectly fine for her. And for her Echo 3 piece, you want to at least have electric damage, which is really good, and the rest could be attack percentage. That in general is really good, unless they updated. The other recommendation I could say is she will auto want energy recharge if they make it where, you know, she kind of need that little bit of a boost to get her ultimate back or liberation back, or you're going to be running resonant skill or damage or resonant liberation damage. But as it stands, we currently don't know her multipliers or anything, so I can't really tell you guys what's the best substat at the moment, other than the simple fact that any crit rate or crit damage piece and electric damage piece for your main stat is going to be just good in general for Yinlin. Now that we're done talking about echoes, let's talk about Yinlin weapon. Do Yinlin need her signature weapon? Long story short, the answer to that answer is not really. The game doesn't really have that many great weapons to choose from anyway, but you don't really need her 5-star weapon, and that also includes Ji-Yun, as Ji-Yun don't also need his 5-star weapon to make them viable, at least to my knowledge. But having Yinlin's signature weapon would be a major boost to your account, and I do highly recommend you guys to at least try to get it, but you don't have to. Don't think I'm trying to force you guys to spend money or anything. So if you don't want Yinlin's signature weapon, what weapon could work in this situation? You always want to try to look at your battle pass weapon first if you can't afford to get the signature weapon or the 5-star weapon first. So your second option for any character in general is go straight to the battle pass weapon, as the battle pass weapon is usually kind of sometimes your second best choice in this space for gacha games, at least. So the battle pass weapon, which is called the augment, I believe, is going to be a great piece or a great weapon for Yinlin because it's given crit rate. But not only that, when Yinlin does her resonant liberation damage or her resonant liberation, it increased the caster attack by 15% for 15 seconds, which is going to be really good for Yinlin in general. That is going to be a good piece because now, as I mentioned earlier, for when it came to echoes, you're giving her more crit rate, or just crit rate in general, so she can deal consistent damage in a way. But if you don't have the battle pass weapon because you're free to play and you're broke and you can't afford a battle pass weapon as well, then there's not really that many weapons to choose from after that point. But there are still some other, I'll say, alternatives. Variation is a good weapon as well, because variation is going to help you pretty much have a faster team rotation with Yinlin, and it will give her energy recharge for her ultimate. Now, as I said earlier, I don't know if Yinlin will want energy recharge. As it stands, we don't know how bad it is for Yinlin to get her ultimate or liberation in time or such, so for now it's kind of whatever, so do take that with a grain of salt. But variation is going to be a great weapon, at least for Yinlin to go for. If you don't have variation, the last weapon I would also recommend is Jinju Keeper. Jinju Keeper, when the intro skill is used, increase the attacker attack by 8% and the HP by 10%, but we don't care about the HP part, and it lasts for 15 seconds. And the second thing best about this weapon is it's going to be giving you attack percentage, especially if you like max out and you get 36.4% or whatever. So Jinju Keeper will be her, I'd say, after the battle pass weapon, her best weapon as well to use because it's giving you attack percentage. But if you don't have that weapon, of course, use variation. But in conclusion, there's not really that many good weapons Yinlin could choose from if you aren't going to get her signature weapon or her battle pass weapon. So in this case, I do feel like you should at least try to get her signature weapon or the battle pass weapon for Yinlin. And that pretty much concludes the video. If you did find this video helpful, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new, so we could hit 10,000 subscribers this year. And hey, if you didn't watch my last video, go definitely check that out. There was a huge announcement that's happening for Wuthering Ways. Or if you don't want to check that out, watch my other video where I did a Encore God video, and I will soon be making a Verena God video, hopefully pretty soon. And maybe for Yinlin if I do end up getting Yinlin, but who knows. I'll see you guys in another video soon.